Hi all, this video is set up to show I'm comparing these Deestone 750 16 ag tires to the STA 750 16 NDT tire. I've run these tires in several conditions and I'll comment on the road, but I'm mainly focusing on off-road conditions. I'm going to be focusing on 3 different conditions, well 4 including the road, but these are the 750 NDTs in a muddy ditch here in my brother-in-law's property here in Illinois. This ditch is always wet, and you'll see here I edited a little bit just for what wasn't important, but I'm trying to show you how much work I took to get up these with NDTs. Some of these segments are lengthy, but I'm trying to show you really what it is, and to let you know what's going on here. These are the NDTs. I'm going to run the same thing with the ag tires. I'm trying to do apples to apples comparison, and I want to basically be unbiased about it and let the video let the video show what you can decide for yourself. At the end, I am probably going to make a few comments, my opinion on a few things. But I'm running, there's the same Jeep, same driver, same obstacle, same day. Only difference is the NDTs or ag tires. The tire pressure is 10 PSI. And I know there's going to be a lot of comments in this video, and I encourage that. But some of the comments are probably going to be, well, you need to air down to 4 or 5 pounds or whatever, and I appreciate that, but I can tell you, if you haven't wheeled on these tires, skinny tires, I'll call them, you can't just, in my experience, you can't just air these things down. You can only go down so far, because if you air down to like 4 or 5 pounds, they're tall and they'll roll over. So, I mean, I've tried, I've wheeled as low as 7, even I have wheeled as low as 5 pounds, and sometimes I do that on different surfaces. But 10 is a good round for this type of tire. And I'm also not claiming that NDTs are a great off-road tire, or the ag tires are a great off-road tire. I mean, we call them locker stocker guys. We want to do it on skinny tires. It's kind of a parameter that we set for ourselves. I do think that NDTs do a lot better than what a lot of people give credit for if you've watched the videos. But anyway, I'm trying to get up this hill. I actually have gone up this hill before with the NDTs. And this is spoiler alert, I'm not going to make it up this, but I have done it before. This ditch is always muddy, but I've done it in the winter when it was actually, the ground was frozen and hard. But I've only done it once with the NDTs. You can see what I'm going through. I'm starting to dig a hole here in turning right, trying different angles, giving it a lot of horsepower here. Doing my best to get up there. A lot of guys, they'll ask me, like I say, we call it locker stocker, which Bam isn't exactly a locker stocker because it's got different drivetrain in it, but I would say, well, what do you consider the type of tires that you would drive in that class? And I don't really limit it to a tire. Basically, these originally had 16-inch wheels by 4.5-inch wide. So I usually say it's any tire that will fit on a 16 by 4.5-inch wide wheel. That's a parameter that I've set in some of my friends that I wheel with. So, now, okay, so now here these are the ag tires. These are Deestone 715 or 750/16. Sorry. You know, I see a little cutting brake there to kind of pull me into the ditch. But these are the same diameter, and I'm not saying ag tires versus NDTs in general. What I'm saying is this is these Deestone 750s versus the SDA NDTs. This is the same obstacle, same day. I just went and changed tires. Next, we move on to Moab and the Slick Rock. We spent, this is from Cliffhanger, but we spent a day on Hell's Revenge where I ran the ag tires, and I actually, you can see what you just watch what you see here, but my buddy Alan is coming up behind me. Our Jeeps are, it's not the same Jeep and driver, but he and I are set up quite similar, and I'll explain that later in the video farther. Here's Alan doing the same thing. I told him to try to walk it, and he, as you can see that. Actually, I went back and walked this. I went back and changed the NDTs, and I was able to do just like what Alan did there. I don't have video of it, sorry. Here's another entrance here where I'm in the ag tires, and I try to crawl it best I can. But really, in Moab, I mean, it isn't like night and day. I mean, about any tire's good on that Slick Rock, but so it wasn't like I could not go there, but sometimes I had to earn it there. Now here I am with NDTs. This is the next day, but it's the same time of day, same conditions, and that's with my NDTs.
You got your barbecue sauce on?
Now this is Missouri. This is Rush Springs Ranch in southern Missouri. This is a totally different terrain together. This is called Slippery When Wet. You know, Missouri's got lots of little, medium, and big size rocks, sharp rocks, and it can be wet. This particular obstacle has a mixture of both, but where I'm trying to climb here, it's kind of a flat rock, and it's always wet, but this particular time it was a little bit, it was drier than normal, but it's still wet, so when it's dry it kind of mixes with the leaves and the mud a little bit. I took several attempts. I've been coming to this ranch for 7 years, and until this here, I have never not made this obstacle, whether it was raining, whether it was dry, whether it was whatever. And I did, this video doesn't show everything attempted, but I tried crawling it, I tried crawling it to the left, crawling it to the right, running up hard to the left, running up hard to the right. So this is just a sampling. We spent quite a bit of time on this obstacle. I actually attempted this 3 different times over the weekend. And it was with the tires mounted like you see here, and this is just a sample. Yeah. And then I tried it. Oh, these are the NDTs. I went back and switched to NDTs. This is the same day. It was slick, no doubt. There ain't nobody that crawled it this time. In matter of fact, like I said, I have crawled this in other years. Yep, there it is. So, right. This is Jeff Petrowich, JPET action reporter for the CJ28page.com. We're working on some NDT versus or just comparison, I shouldn't say versus, but now we flip the chevrons around to see if it helps. You can see this is Bam Bam, that's Thumper. The Jeeps are pretty much evenly, they're set up very similar motor, transmission, and tiring. So, and of course, you know my buddy Alan. Here's the groups of the Quasi 8s here. So we're trying to do, this isn't exactly apples to apples, but I mean, it's about as close as we can get to seeing what the difference might be. So let's see what we find out. Okay, as I said, this is slippery when wet, and this is the next day. It's a little bit colder, might be a little more moisture in the air, but it didn't rain at all. And I've got the chevrons, or I'm going to call them the tines, the tread tines. They're in reverse now. Believe it or not, I felt like this weekend they actually worked better like this. One of the problems with these tines is that, you know, in the dirt, they try to clean the dirt out. They throw the dirt out when they're mounted normal. But the little rocks, it also digs, rather than driving over the rocks, it kind of pitches them out. It kicks them out or kicks them up. And it seems like whenever I turn them this way, that maybe it's trying to pull the rocks into the tire rather than throwing them out. I'm not sure, but it was definitely smoother on the trail. When I run these just driving on the regular trail, they make noise, but like they make noise in my drivetrain. I can hear my drive shafts and my gears in my transfer case. They just make a lot of noise. But when I turn around like this, the Jeep itself sounds a lot smoother, runs better. I mean, definitely got road noise, but not Jeep mechanical noise. So, and when you hear this video, you can hear the pop 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 of the tires. And I'm going to show you later that that's the tines, if you will. They're actually giving way and bending rather than hooking. So just kind of watch this a little bit. And I spent a lot of time on this. You know, I tried it left, right, just a lot. I never ever did make it up with these tires.
Be a good time to find out.
And there's a couple others in the group. I don't have all the video, but Alan has the NDTs. And here's a picture right here. If you look closely, you can see the tread or tines bending over. Here's Alan. Alan, I should make a comment. His NDTs, he's actually put a groove in them in the center. Mine are not grooved, so some might say, well, that's all the difference. Well, it's, in my opinion, it's not. I've run them both ways, and I can't tell a night and day difference with those grooves compared to uncut, other than on the highway. Look at that. It just pops right up. He didn't even use as much effort. On the highway, the rainwater, they dissipate a lot. Okay, this picture here, this is JW. He's on this slippery when wet the first day, and you can see his tires. He has regular NDTs that are uncut, and I wasn't there when he made it, but he actually made it up that too. So this is Joe's log jam. Look at this picture of my driver's front tire on that rock. We spent a lot of time on this obstacle. I've done it before in the past, and we pretty much learned that the trick is getting that tire up on that rock to lift the Jeep up. Otherwise, you bottom out. That's the only way you get all four tires on rock to get up it. And we spent probably 15 minutes on this with this Jeep and these tires. And here's Alan, exact same line. He's able to keep digging and grab that rock and pull him up over the same thing. He didn't spend near as much time as I did and actually made it.
Might tear some stuff up.
This is Boulder Dash.
Gonna get in your body.
Alan running it in his tires. Again, like I said, we're pretty evenly matched. We wheel the same. We talk to each other. We have similar gear. And like I said, his NDTs do have those grooves in them. But I've run this trail before without grooves. You know what I mean? my opinion, the grooves are mainly for the road.
That's it.
Some would differ, but I will to decide if I have enough experience in NDTs to be considered relevant. Okay, here I come with the ag tires. And that's, see, they're backwards here, but that's another thing I noticed is why I was saying is that if these tires want to pull the rocks, the smaller rocks, out of the ground, or even the medium-sized rocks, it kind of tries to pull them out of the ground. So, just watch this. This obstacle here, just like the previous one, the Joe's Log Jam, you've got to get your driver's tire up to the right as you're going around that. You can see that edge that leans over that your body gets into. But now at this point, you've got to go driver and get your tire up on that rock to lift your Jeep over. And it looks like, well, why don't you just go over there? Well, I couldn't get over there. It wouldn't let me get over there. So here I'm actually going way exaggerate to the right, almost around that hump to try to pick the vehicle up over. And if you go back and look at Alan, you'll see that's what he did. And, pretty much he just went that way. But on these tires, I kept trying to, but it kept sliding down. So here it definitely took some work to get through there, I'll tell you that. Listen, you hear them tines popping? Just doesn't want to grab it. They're like there's like the NDTs have that band in the middle that kind of hold everything together, but these are like individuals. And I want to reiterate that I'm not saying that NDTs are better in one situation or ag tires are better in the other, or I want you guys to watch the video and decide for yourself. But this, basically what I'm saying is that this is Deestone 750 16 ag tires and STA 750 16 NDT tires that have not been cut on my Jeep with my driving skill in the conditions that I drive. This is just what I observe. There may be things you can change in the way you drive or the vehicle, but this is just
like you're driving on a racer. Those tires are not as good. I didn't say that.
Okay, that's pretty much the end of my testing. So you might pause the video here if you want and observe my stuff. But this is Nick Oxender. He's got this Jeep's a submarine Jeep, and he loves ag tires, and showing that he did really well with these. This is Pritchett Canyon. Those that know, this is no slouch trail. And he did really, really good with them. So, I'm not saying, again, that these tires ag tires in general are good or not good on certain surfaces. I'm just trying to show how they are on my Jeep with my suspension.
Keep trying.
So, but I don't want to discourage that. So I will give some opinions now. Like I said, for my Jeep, I think in the mud and in the wet dirt and stuff, they are night and day better. The ag tire, at least these Deestones are, over mine.
Yeah.
On the Slick Rock, I think the
Now you
NDTs
may
are
need
a
to
little
straighten the
better,
wheel
but
just a
I'm
little.
not. It wasn't like I couldn't go somewhere with the egg tires. It just I may be able to crawl something with the NDTs that
Yep.
I may have to zip up with the egg tires. But in Missouri, I really
hung up on
struggled
his-
with those ag tires, trying to get
keep
the
going.
loose
Drive
rock or like
Yeah,
really
you got it.
loose dirt. You're going
got it, you got it.
downhill,
That's
and
it.
rather than driving on top of stuff, the ag tires want to plow
Come on.
through. And then I also
Now
want to discuss the highway. I
that's
mean, it's
it.
clearly
Straighten
that
out a
ag
little
tires are not rated.
Straighten up.
They're
Straighten
not
up. You got
DOT
it.
approved for the highway.
Straighten up.
I've driven with them
You're up.
mounted
You're up. You got it.
the normal way,
Drive on
and
out.
they're actually, I think they run much better on the highway if you mount them backwards. I do get a lot of road noise, no doubt, but
need to
I
head
don't get as
passenger
much
up and get
mechanical
above it so you
vibration
don't,
in my Jeep
Get yourself up against this
when I
wall.
run them backwards as I do if I run them straight on. They just feel squirrely. If you run them straight on, the Jeep wants to move,
You got it.
dart left and right a little more, and I hear all of my drivetrain in my body and stuff makes a lot of noise. Where again, if I mount them backwards, they make a lot of road noise, but it's just on the road. It's not in the vehicle. But you know, that's rocker knocker there. That's no slouch obstacle. So good job.
Right.
One thing I should also mention, a significant advantage to these ag tires, or Deestone 750 ag tires to the STA 750 16s, is that they're only like $125 a piece, where the NDTs are like closer to $200 a piece now. So like if you have and another thing is that the NDTs are meant to mount with tubes. I run tubeless, but I guess because of that, the beads, I mean, they bleed a little bit, they burp a little bit, especially at low pressure. But I mean, like I'll, leave my Jeep in the barn for a couple of weeks, and when you come back, the tires will be low, if not flat. Where these ag tires, they're tubeless, and they hold air a lot better from my experience. So like if you have a farm Jeep, that doesn't see a lot of road travel, I highly recommend these ag tires, at least if you're not in loose rock. I mean, if you're in the dirt in the field or the mud or ditches, I mean, they really work well. But if you want to drive on the road, that's, I'd certainly recommend the NDTs. But you watch the video, you can decide for yourself. I appreciate any comments, constructive comments, and thank you for watching. If you've got a farm Jeep, it stays on the farm, it doesn't go on the road, you're in the dirt and maybe the mud a lot, these are a really good option. They're cheaper, they hold air better, and run better tubeless. But if you want to drive your Jeep on the road, that's something to consider too on it. Or if you're out west, I'd say if you live out west, you'd be better off with the NDTs for sure. Or if you're in Missouri, you want to go wheeling, you can just be the judge. But I thank you for watching this video.